Awesome. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Deals for Dentists podcast. And we are joined by the one and only Elijah Desmond. Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me, Eric. I mean, I feel like it was about a year ago when we had this first one.
Yeah, and a lot has happened since then. So Elijah is bringing the fun back to dental events, and I was there in Miami in April, and then we were back in at the Diplomat Beach just recently in October. And your events are just so much fun because it's just so much relationship driven, and I've made so many friends and contacts and network and from your events. So can you tell me, was that like the whole purpose behind Smiles at Sea and now the Dental Festival?
Well, first off, the purpose behind Smiles at Sea absolutely was to put people on a trapped ship together and have the time of our life. So yes, for that. The point of the Dental Festival is to bring multiple dental conferences all at one location, at one dental festival, because we have so many opportunities as dental professionals to go and essentially get CE. The thing is like you got to choose at some point. So I was like, well, why don't we put all of these different conferences at one dental festival so people don't have to choose? And so now you get one ticket and you get access to everything. And so from a attendee, it makes all the sense in the world because literally there's something for everyone. And it's not like a class or a workshop. They're full-blown conferences. They're 2-day conferences this year. And we're going to have up to 20 of them in Nashville in July. So I'm super excited to have them. And so what we did, we found a good combination between fun and continuing education. And I like to say we're 50-50. Fun and 50-50 education. But, a lot of the issues I feel like in the event spaces and what we've been missing because of the COVID-19 virus is that we're missing human interaction in people. And so bringing people together and having very intentional experiences has been amazing outside of a cruise ship. So everybody's been asking, like, Elijah, are you still in business? Like, well, yes, we pivoted and we made a land event and made it, it'll be in Nashville, July 6th to the 10th, but it will have been 3 years and now we're finally cruising. So in the fall of next year, we are setting sail. I am so excited because that was my baby. Like that's how I've got my run in dentistry, is doing something unconventional and having a niche, and it was cruises, and we were blowing it up. I mean, we had grown 30% every year. The last cruise, we were on track to have over 1,000 people there. And now we get to get back in the cruise business at the end of the fall after the dental festival. So.
Yeah. So I haven't actually been to a Smiles at Sea cruise yet. And I'm super excited to, once that's ready, to hop on board. But one of my events was part of the most recent dental festival, the Get Stress Free Dentistry Summit. And the way I kind of would tell people what the dental festival is, it's kind of like I would compare it to Jazz Fest in New Orleans. It's like a music festival. You get a ticket. There's 10 stages. You get in and you can go to any of the stages that you want, but that one ticket gets you access to all of the different, stages or in your case, events. And then in the middle, you have all of the sponsors and the food and all the, the fun stuff going on, but you're giving the attendee different options. You want to see Pearl Jam, you go see Pearl Jam. You want to see Dave Matthews, you go see Dave Matthews. But the Smiles at Sea cruise ship, is that just like one? Is that going to be like one convention because it's a smaller venue?
Yeah, so it will just be Smiles at Sea. So there won't be Smiles at Sea and then this conference and that conference. It will be the one conference that we host compared to multiple, like a festival. So the difference with that is like, look, it's at one conference, but we have 2 or 3 rooms firing off at all time with different speakers, but it's one conference. And then everybody has the time of their life at night. Like we have the best. The parties are just over the top. Whitening ball, costume parties. And then, of course, you have all the built-in ship entertainment as well. So you have a ton of things to do on the ship that are built in, shows. There's a comedy show. It's all these acting. And then we're going to an island, by the way, get off the boat, have the time of our life, get back on the boat. Everybody's eating dinner together in a huge dining hall. I mean, listen, I love the festival. It's like my new baby, but Smiles at Sea will always be my baby. Like that's the something that I'm so, it's been 3 years, so maybe that's part of the excitement, but I love cruises in the first place. A lot of people, 20% of the world, or 20% of the world goes on cruises. 80% of it has never been, you know? And people are worried about motion sick. Like you don't get motion sick really on them. They're seasick if you do the right precautions. The people that do get seasick, at the beginning of my open, I say, whoever's feeling seasick, come to the front. And, you know, last event, we had 670 people. There was probably 30 people that raised their hand. They came to the front and they got sent to the doctors where they got little things for their wrists and they got things from behind their ears. Do you know, out of all the people, everybody ends up being okay. Like there's I've not had any time where somebody spent the time seasick, which is the biggest fear, essentially.
Yeah, I've been on, you know, a cruise ship. My wife and I did for our honeymoon, and the ships they're pretty well stabilized. So because I get seasick on smaller boats, but on a cruise ship, usually it's not an issue. But I have worn those little wristbands with that little magnet thing that helps. But yeah, man, there is no shortage of fun with your events, and there is something about being on a cruise ship together that's kind of like a little community feel to it. Like I was mentioning, my wife and I were we did a Mediterranean cruise, and you just from that, you eat dinner together, you go on excursions together, you see everyone across the boat, and you just kind of start meeting people. So I'm, you know, super excited for that. Did I see you on either Facebook or LinkedIn? Do you have a tour bus that you've added to the repertoire now?
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, it's just one of those things that I always wanted to do. I wanted to essentially, so I went out and I bought a tour bus. It's a 40-foot 2021 tour bus. And basically on this bus, we're going to take it to a major conference once per month. And when we take it to the conference, I'll have a caravan of people following me to the conference to join me at the conference. And I'll either MC the conference or I'll DJ an event at the conference, whether it's with the conference or offsite. And we'll just bring a whole bunch of people. Something I'm about is raising the standard for all dental conferences. And I don't have any competition, zero competition. In fact, I help all of the conferences. I help them promote their conference. And on top of promoting their conference, I bring a bunch of people to their conference, and then I'll MC it and I'll DJ it. I believe in changing and disrupting the entire conference industry. I mean, right now we're at a time to where the conference space, there's a chance to hit reset. Because if you go to the major conference like, you know, ADA, I think there was I believe 3,600 attendees that went there. Hinman, 1,500. Listen, I love both organizations. They're amazing, but it's time to do something different. So we're taking this bus. We're going to do live streaming the entire event. The event actually will be wrapped. The tour bus is wrapped with our sponsors, actually, of whoever sponsors them. But basically, we take that bus, we go to the event, and you know, when we get there, we bring all kinds of fun and energy. I mean, here's the thing: millennials, which I only own myself, and I can tell you for all the different ones, is that millennials are wanting, and people in general are wanting something that feels like a community or an experience. They're no longer the days you're just going to a class because you got to take it or you want a class. You got to have an experience. And that's what we're all about, is making a fun, memorable experience and making it to where like you're a kid at camp again. And those memories you'll just never forget, those people you'll never forget. And you want to go back year after year.
So like, is this like a surprise? Like I'm going to be at Yankee Dental or Midwinter meeting, and I'm going to see the Elijah tour bus. Like I'm going to hear the music like coming like from a mile away, and I'm going to be like, oh yeah, here we go. Here comes the party.
Here we go. It's actually, so it'll be planned. So we'll put up our agenda online at thedentalfestival.com. and we'll post it different places. At first, it will be a surprise to the conferences because we just bought this bus, right? So the conferences are just going to be learning about us at first. And then in time, give it a year, we'll have conference buy-in and we'll be able to pull up to the front of the event and with our music and our fun. And look, at the end of the day, it's about these two things. It's about education and it's about community, forming a sense of community and bringing everybody into the fold. I don't care if they're just getting out of school. I don't care if they need to find a group. This is our group. It's a large group and we're inclusive with everybody.
Yeah. And education it's so much better when you are having fun. I've been to so many conferences and conventions in the past where it was just so stuffy and, the speakers are up there, showing their, they're up in a suit and tie showing this amazing work and everyone's sitting there quiet and afraid to talk to each other. That is not the case with your events. You do learn a lot, but you also, you have a lot of fun. Now is Driven Dental, can you talk about Driven Dental marketing and also the summit that's coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, Driven Dental marketing is having an implant symposium at the Nashville conference on July the 6th and the 7th. Hands-on conference is the focus is not marketing. The focus for that will be, start to finish digital workflow, photography, all of the above, hands-on 2-day intense lecture. So we're super excited about that. As a company, Driven Dental Implant Marketing, I'll tell you a couple of things that make us completely different from everybody. The first thing is we have this program called the VPA program, Virtual Patient Advocate. It was created at the beginning of COVID, and it was created because patients felt more safe from home than they felt in the dental practice. And so what we did is I went and recruited the top treatment coordinators in the country to come on my team full time. So we're now doing ads for dental practices. We have been for 4 or 5 years. We're doing Google, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, all those ads, but we're driving them to a landing page that encourages them to sign up for a virtual consultation. So my team actually does a full-blown virtual consultation with the practice, with the patient for 1 hour and gets the patient educated about dentistry, builds the relationship, which is most important, and then gets them financed. So we're actually handing over patients to the practice that are financed at $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000. And we're not sending them leads anymore. We're only sending them patients. So the patients that we're giving are huge cases and it's handed to them on a silver platter. So that's like the big differentiator between us and other marketing companies. I have 36 people on my team. Half my team members are dental professionals. Like leads are irrelevant. It's all about conversions. The other half of my team are the marketing experts. We come together and basically are giving dental practices between 2 and 4 big cases per month that are hand delivered to them on a silver platter. Basically, we're a part of their team now. So we have expanded to also doing airway. Now we also do airway marketing. And for offices that are not doing implants, they're not doing airway, we are ridiculously good at emergency campaigns. We've cracked the code. We're making that phone ring 2 to 3 times per day for patients that need dentistry now. And oftentimes it turns into a patient for life, and then also a patient that could need implants in these big cases. So we're rocking it with Driven Dental implant marketing. We're super established in the space of the marketing space, and we're only getting better each time.
So the VPA is essentially like a vetting process where the patient's getting educated, and they're also you're figuring out their financial situation to see if they're even a good fit for the office. Is that right?
Yes. Because what you notice is with traditional marketing, especially when you're talking about high value implant cases, 95% of those leads that come in, that come in through your portal, 95% of them, they are not going to show up to your appointment. They're going to show up to the appointment and they're going to waste your time because they did not have the credit score or the cash. And we're saving practices between 40 and 60 hours on average a month by doing it this way. because we screen out everybody that doesn't have the cash or the financing. We're only sending people that get financed. And so oftentimes at the dental practice, your front desk has so many things to do that if they see 95% of the leads that are coming in, they're not panning out. Do you think they're going to pay attention to them? No. So they end up missing that 5%. The unicorns, they just run right by them because they already have that mindset. Like, none of these patients are good. I'm wasting my time. The doctor's wasting his time. They're not going to show up to their appointment. Well, if we get to take 5% and say, okay, here are all your golden nuggets, save your time. Now all of a sudden we're the heroes. So we've been growing so fast because of that program.
And the emergency campaign, can you explain that? Is that, let's say, a patient's in pain or they broke a tooth? And does that also go hand in hand with implants? So if a patient is seeing that your office is taking emergencies and it's a broken tooth, it's non-restorable, this could ultimately end up in an implant as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the emergencies, it's pretty straightforward. We're not using all the marketing channels like, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're using Google AdWords, strictly Google AdWords. And we're not making them fill out forms, quizzes, this and that. It's simply making your phone ring. So we're making your phone ring from our campaign, and we're averaging by month 3, 2 to 3 phone calls a day. Some offices, way more. I mean, Dr. Amos is one of our offices. We had it in Ohio. He had 14 patients in one day from our emergency campaign. 14, over 200 leads for the month on his 3rd month of this new way that we've been doing the marketing. So, it's for everybody. Anybody that needs any type of, or that needs or is accepting emergency patients, this is for you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of patients out there that just haven't been to the dentist in 18 months or 2 years because of COVID, and there's a lot of emergency situations out there. So tell me about your DJing. I know I've seen you on Facebook and LinkedIn. That's like your hobby, huh?
Listen, I think everybody should have a hobby. Unfortunately for me, it took me 33 years to figure out mine. I just love making people dance and enjoy themselves. I love giving people good vibes, and music does that. And so I decided to invest in my DJing career, and I went to Scratch Academy. So Scratch Academy is where most of the famous DJs out of New York and Miami go to, and it's a full-blown curriculum. So I should be done by March. Right now, I'm level 3 of 4 levels. And when I become level 4, I'll be a battle DJ and certified. And I'm really excited for that. And I'll be able to go out and, like I said, I'll MC conferences and I'll DJ as well. Now, I've been at DJing conferences for a while now before the pandemic, but I'll be exceptionally better than I was in the past. But I just love it. I don't do it for the money. Like, oftentimes for conferences, like if I'm MCing, I'll just say, hey, you need a DJ, and I'll bring my stuff. I'm not doing it for a living. I'm doing it because I'm obsessed with it. and I really enjoy myself with it. So
yeah, like you mentioned, it's important to have a hobby, to have something other than just whatever your profession is, to look forward to doing something that can help relax your mind. So that's awesome, man. Good for you. And are you also consulting for other dental conventions?
Yes, absolutely. So that's super important. I have my mindset on changing the conference space for the better for everybody, and not just in dental. I'm actually doing consulting for multiple types of conferences in general. It's thinking outside the box, not doing the same thing that we've done for 100 years. So I'm actually, I have a whole set of videos for conference owners. And then I basically go in and I teach them how to grow and scale the fun, the profitability, and the value of their conference. So people are going and feeling like they got so much and they want to come back, and they post pictures. One thing you'll notice at all my conferences is when my conference starts till the conference ends 2 weeks post, we have photos and we have flooded the entire industry all over social media. Why is that? Well, it's because we're not sitting there like a normal conference, scratching our head and watching the paint dry on the wall. Like, we're actually doing things that you want to capture these moments of. All those pictures you see, those are moments that people are having. And so I want to bring these moments to every conference that's out there, and not just dentistry. I'm consulting plenty of conferences outside the industry, but our industry specifically, because I am a hygienist. I do know what it's like to be required to get my continuing education. And I sat through boring evening events for so long. Like, there's got to be something better. And so that's why this whole thing was created. And so I want to bring that to all conferences, and I'm happy to help, whether it's a startup conference or if it's a conference that has been around for years and they've been, their attendance has been getting lower and lower. I'm here to put the energy back into the industry.
Awesome, man. I want to wrap up with one final question. If you could give any advice to any young hygienists, dentists, entrepreneurs, anyone out there, what would it be?
Man, give abundantly. That would be my advice. When I was worried about me and Elijah and focused only on me, and I had blinders on to the rest of the world, I felt like I was on a treadmill. When I stopped thinking about me and started thinking about other people, my entire career completely changed. And all of a sudden, success pours in everywhere from all angles, starting with the person that I went and helped. And as a byproduct of helping other people, we continue to rise together.
Man, that's awesome advice, man. I appreciate you so much coming on. You're a super busy guy, and I think you have such a great message and such great energy. So Elijah Desmond, thanks again for joining us.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.